And
hi everybody, I'm Johnny Hatton, the bass player from the Brian Setzer Orchestra for about 300 years now. So there's two parts to the rockabilly, the swing feel. The snap, which gives you the note, and then the slap, which gives you some rhythm. It's like a kind of a 4-beat division. Pickup's important in rockabilly, in bluegrass. That there's a pickup right there, and that's the one that gets, we call it the click. I call this the neck knock. So on. Well, part of the bass, rockabilly bass scene is doing tricks on the bass. I like to stick it out over here. It's hard to do on carpet, that's what I'm on. Don't try this at home.
I should start doing that at jazz gigs, except I'm a good bass with Kate.
I'm looking for more music from you. Maybe I'll do the Brian Setzer one. Brian Setzer Orchestra. Let's see. There's any of these probably have you playing, right? I'm thinking.
It may be. I've been on them 20 years with them.
I mean, there's a lot of Christmas extravaganza.
Yeah, that would be me.
Okay.
That's me.
Thank you all very much. Appreciate that. Okay, it doesn't blow away. We'd like to play you the Nutcracker Suite.
Yeah.
It's a little long.
Frank Comstock arranged this.
Oh,
He was 27.
really?
Yeah. With Harry James.
Wow.
I've got to read the music for this one, as so many modern pop artists do. The Nutcracker Suite, Bernie.
Holy moly. Wow. That's pretty amazing. Wow.
It's a great chart.
Yeah, man. Really good. So you mentioned the arranger was a
Yeah, Frank
young.
Comstock.
Is he like alive now or was it an older?
Well, he passed away about 3 or 4 years ago, and he actually did another album for Brian called Wolfgang's Big Night Out, and he would take all classical music and make it rock and swing. So, but he wrote that arrangement when he was 27 years old. I talked to that guy for about an hour on the way to a gig, and he called me up because I'd mentioned him in an article in the old Musicians Union magazine when we were down on Vine Street or whatever that street was.
Yeah.
Yeah, Melrose. Anyway, he called to thanks for the article, thanks for the mention, and I was on the way to a gig, so we just chatted for about an hour and a half. Told me his life stories. To 27 years old when he wrote that, and he wrote it for Harry James's orchestra.
Wow.
So,
That was pretty smoking arrangement.
yeah, really.
Um,
Pretty much the same one. Um, Mark Jones, was a trombonist in the band a long time ago, and he's been doing all of Brian's arrangements for quite a while. So he kind of adapted it to us.
yeah. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't introduce John Hatton, old friend of mine, and we've done a lot of gigs together
Hello.
over the years.
Yes, I am.
I don't know how else to say that. Longtime friend of mine.
Old is good. Jesus.
I was watching, and it suddenly struck me. I don't really know a lot about Brian Setzer. He from, was he from another rock group, a famous rock group, and then he
Yeah.
broke off and did that?
Yep, the Stray Cats.
Stray Cats, right?
And they were a trio, bass, drums, and guitar. The drummer lives in L.A.,
Huh.
Beverly Hills. Slim Jim Phantom, he's the tall, skinny guy in the band, and Lee Rocker lives in Laguna Beach. He's the bass
Oh, wow.
player. Yeah, he married one of the heiresses to the Security Pacific Bank fortune.
Wow.
He's lucky. And
Yeah.
then Brian was the leader. They all were New Yorkers from Long Island, Massapequa, to be
Huh.
exact. They went to school together, I think, maybe not, but they were all about the same age. Put a band together, and they went to England or Europe. I'm not sure if it was England, but they went to Europe and got famous over there.
Oh.
And Slim Jim had written a song called "Rumble in Brighton Tonight," which is a great song. And it's
Wow.
about guys that just get together, have a big fist fight, and then they go to the bar and get hammered.
It sounds like Brighton.
All about duking it out. Let's have a fight, right tonight. It's a
That's
great,
funny.
great.
So is Brian the kind of guitar player who sits around and just plays through pretty music too? Does he do that, or is he just kind of focused on this kind of thing?
Well, he's famous for the rockabilly style, and I call him the poster boy for Gretsch guitars because that's the sound he likes. It's the old
Yeah.
rockabilly started out. It was hillbilly.
Yeah.
It was hillbillies trying to rock. And they were always playing these old Western style guitars, which are
Right.
pretty thick bodies and
That
twang
sound is really distinctive. Yeah.
and the big speed, the big speed tuner. Whereas a lot of your nowadays modern guitars want a solid body guitar like the Fenders, but Brian's a purist. He has the hollow body Gretches.
Yeah. And God, and how long have you played with that band?
Well, I don't know, what time is it. I think it's at least 20 years, maybe
Yeah.
25 years. Yeah, I think 25, something like that.
You know, and I was reading your bio, man, and you know how it is. You know somebody for a long time, you work together for a long time. You don't ask them where they came. Sometimes it comes up where you were born or where you went to school. But I mean, I didn't realize that you were from Kansas City.
Well, I was born in Columbia, Missouri, which is smack dab in the middle. That's my parents were going to MU, or I think Dad was going to MU, and Mom was going to Stevens College, and I entered the world there, so we can figure hanky pank was going on somewhere. And then I lived in northern Missouri, in a little bitty town of 400 population. My dad
Oh,
was.
wow.
I remember when he got me my first violin, and it was about this big. I think I was 6 years old, and that's all I wanted to do. I wanted to be like Dad. He was a classically trained violinist. You'd think he'd be playing hoedown music being in North Missouri, but no, he
Yeah.
was classical. He liked Mozart and Bach, and
Uh,
he'd stroll around the squadrons going over.
really?
A couple of biplanes. Oh,
Oh,
they're in
wow.
formation. That's great.
Huh.
I love that. Anyway, so he'd stroll around the house playing his viola and doing Bach cello suites and things like that. And I wanted a violin in the worst way, and he bought
Mhm.
it. It was a little tiny one and pulled it out of a paper bag. So it's been downhill ever since. Yeah, I was playing in the high school orchestra when I was in third grade. He was
Oh.
the orchestra director at this little tiny
Mm.
town. Actually, there were townspeople that would come in and play in the orchestra. It was the only one in town of
Oh,
400.
wow.
So then we moved to St. Louis. He got a job teaching there at a school district, the Affton district. And I was concert master by then, and concert master of the Missouri All Youth Orchestra,
Uh,
playing violin. I got in the St.
wow.
Louis Philharmonic for a couple of years.
Wow.
And then I started playing upright bass because they had a swing band at the school, and there was a real tall girl playing bass. Dad always put the tall girls on bass because, you know, guys don't have their growth
Oh,
spurt right away.
right, right. That's funny.
Girls on bass, and they would think this is so unfeminine, but no, it's not. It's like a lot of girls playing string bass. But then, oh, I should play a flute, But so the gig opened up. I took a bass home to my house, and he showed me the notes and the fingering, and then I started playing in that swing band, and the bass just kept luring me. So suddenly I was a bass player. My dad bought me my friend said, I got a rock band. And I said, well, I don't have a bass guitar. He says, I got one. Come over. He was a cello player in the orchestra.
Uh-huh.
So we went to his house, and he pulls out this harmony guitar that he had butchered. He'd chopped 4 notches in the head and in the bridge and put bass strings on them. Oh boy, I was in heaven. I said, this is cool. Boom, boom. Oh, and he showed me this lick. Boom, 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 ba dum, 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 dum. And we played Walking with Mr. Lee to that rhythm, boo da da da. We had 2 saxes, and da 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 dum 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 dum. So 100 years later, the bass line to rock this town
Yeah.
is dong 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 dong. Same bass line. I thought, well, the world has turned perfect circle. So I pretty much abandoned the violin. Well, I remember
Yeah.
being in the Philharmonic Orchestra, and I told there was a couple other high school girls in there, and they didn't give me the time of day until I said, I started playing bass guitar in a rock band. Really? There you go. There was an incentive to continue with the evil path of destruction.
That's usually, I think that's usually the way it is, isn't it?
Uh,
Yeah. So do you still play violin at all?
I do in my church sometimes, but I've kind of graduated to orchestral bass. I play in the Palisades Orchestra, like
Oh,
we're rehearsing tonight. And off for the pandemic, I did a concert with San Fernando Valley Symphony a few months ago.
oh.
Played a few solos there. Whoops. Whoop, came in at the wrong time. See if they call me again. And yeah, I just love classic. I turn the radio on in my car. It's on KUSC.
Huh.
That's the only thing that interests me.
Yeah,
It's complex, you know. But
yeah,
that's easy to do, pretty much.
yeah.
Playing the blues all night.
Speaking of the blues, Big Alan Walker is here. He says,
Oh,
big time Johnny H.
oh my! Thank you kindly.
And my friend Roland says that's why I started playing guitar in my first band. Motivation equals girls.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Hi, and Hiroki from Japan.
Oh, hey, hi, Hiroki.
Yep. Yeah, and Roland reminded me, of course, that was Bernie Dressel on the drums in the Brian Setzer Orchestra. He's so strong in that band, isn't he?
Oh yeah, and his band, the BBB, amazing band.
Oh yeah. Oh, and Susie Oliver is here. Hi, Susie.
Oh, Susie.
Okay. Well, that's nice. Okay. All right. Let's see. Did that happen? Hi, Susie. Let's try that again. Some kind of technical glitch. There we go. Yeah, and you, of course, you played a lot of jazz.
Played,
You know.
played jazz with you.
Yeah, I know. Alan
Yeah.
reminded me you played at the Gate with us too. Um, so,
I had
um,
2 or 3 jazz gigs this week with a fellow
you
named
do?
Chart. Yeah,
Oh,
down at was it last night? I think night before we played at the Stevens Steakhouse, and they had a bad salsa band. I mean, bad in a good way. They had
yeah.
a big horn section that we weren't playing. That was in the other room, the big room. There was some kind of big party. We were just playing jazz in the dining room area.
Where's
But
Stevens? That sounds familiar.
Steakhouse is just south of Los Angeles off of the 5 freeway. You can actually see it from the freeway, and it's it's been notably a Hispanic restaurant that has salsa,
Yeah.
just the best in town there. You know, it's like the mecca for Latin music
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
and jazz. And since we were there, we were playing
Yeah.
jazz.
Is it kind of in an unbusiness place, not like a real business place, but more industrial area?
Yeah, it's kind of industrial area. It's just south of the interchange. You know, the
Yeah.
Los Angeles interchange, I guess. On the 5 south, right at the 710.
Okay. Okay.
And the 5 is
Yeah.
see it from the freeway. It's really great food. They fed us after the gig, and we were, oh God! So we tipped them $10 a piece because the food was amazing. The steak was
Cool.
great.
That's good. I'm glad of that. Hey, so I have your all music credits here. It's not enough. You need to put more on here. I'll show you what it looks like because I know you've played a lot more. See?
Let's see.
Gospel Bop,
Oh yeah, that's my album.
okay? And Big Daddy and then Brian Setzer.
A lot of records. I think I'm on 9 records with Brian.
Uh-huh.
So where do I put those?
Well, this is called allmusic.com.
All music. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and you can just go in there and add stuff.
I could just fake some things too, couldn't I?
Exactly.
Gospel Bop, y'all. Maybe I'll plug this.
Oh, nice cover.
Marie McGillis helped design that cover.
Really nice. Is that your truck?
It's a friend's truck. There's the,
Oh.
yeah,
Oh, that is so
the
cool.
job on the CD, and Bernie's on this.
A lot.
And we shot those
many,
at our church.
I see the songs. So, what kind of songs? Is it originals or what is it?
Gospel tunes. Some are standards and no originals. So we just took. Let's see.
Old gospel
I
tunes?
Saw the Light. Gospel Bop is a tune a friend wrote. Shake a Hand, that's an oldie. The other side of me, that's a Racing with the Devil. That's a band called Trenchcoat. That's not a gospel. Jesus Loves You Baby Anyway. Friend wrote that. If I Lose My Way. Get in line, brother. Get in line, brother. By the way, David Jackson's singing bass on this.
Oh, really?
It goes out like, get in line, brother. It's just like Rattles the Rapper. You Must Be Born Again. That's the oldie. Soul of a Man Never Dies. These are old time tunes, but we put a little rockabilly beat to them.
Okay, so if I was going to hear it, which I can because it's on Spotify.
Oh, we have a bonus track. What's It Like in Hell?
That's funny.
Yeah, I love the title.
Is that ever an original or is that a gospel tune?
Jim Reeves wrote that, and it's the bonus cut after you've got all this religious and you end on a really, I cry at the end sometimes.
Ah.
And then What's It Like in Hell comes on it. And it's just this torturous cacophony of probably what it is like, so be good, people. It's not gonna hang there.
Which song shall I play?
Oh, well, man, I like All Is Well.
Okay.
I got Mrs. Hatton to sing that.
Oh.
It's really a tearjerker, though. If you want something up, Hank Williams, the opening track. I'm playing violin on that.
All right. I Saw the Light.
Yeah, that's an oldie, you'll know. But
And you're playing violin on it. Okay, let's hear that.
And bass. I play bass on everything, and then I overdub the violin.
Okay, and I will listen to the whole thing.
Okay.
I wander so aimless, life filled with sin. I wouldn't let my dear Savior in. Then Jesus came like a stranger in the night. Praise the Lord, I saw the light. I saw the light.
Wow.
I saw the light. No more darkness, no more night. Now I'm so happy, no sorrow inside. Praise the Lord, I saw the light.
Wow.
Just like a blind man, I wandered alone. Worries and fears I claim for my own. Then like a blind man, the God gave back his sight. Praise the Lord, I saw the light. I saw the light, I saw the light. No more darkness, no more night. Now I'm so happy, no sorrow inside. Praise the Lord, I saw the light. I was a fool to wander and stray. Straight is the gate and narrow's the way. Now I've traded the wrong for the right. Praise the Lord, I saw the light. I saw the light, I saw the light. No more darkness, no more night. Now I'm so happy, no sorrow inside. Praise the Lord, I saw the light. Ah, pick it, feet on. Go, Cat. I saw the light, I saw the light. No more darkness, no more night. Now I'm so happy, no sorrow inside. Praise the Lord, I saw the light. Praise the Lord, I saw the light.
Wow. Cool. Now,
a lot of these people, Doug Livingston on steel guitar and keyboards, and Pino Roverato was playing guitar, and Bernie Dressel on drums.
wow.
And I had a bunch of vocalist friends helping me out on the vocals. Let's see, I'm trying to remember. Uh, it'll all come back to me.
Now, can ask you something?
Yeah.
On this All Music, it says featuring Johnny Hatter,
Oh, whoopsie.
which is weird because the performer up above says Johnny Hatton. So that is something.
Got a
See
typo.
right here, it says submit corrections.
Oh,
So you might want to go there.
okay.
Yeah.
And what's the name of that site then?
Well, it's allmusic.com.
You wouldn't know.
And then you type in your name and the record. And, yeah. That was like a little.
Oh, if they want the record, get it on johnnyhatton.com.
Okay, yeah, let's just go look at that just so you guys actually know. Johnny Hatton.
Getting that website, huh? That domain name, johnnyhatton.com.
And there it is. There he's Johnny Hatton. And there.
There's Bernie. There's the truck. And oh, you can get t-shirts too. Look at those. Spaz t-shirts.
Oh. Oh, those are cute. I
Yeah.
like those. Very cute. Order now.
Sometimes I sign my name like that, Spaz, with the glasses and the
That's cute.
self-portrait.
That's cute. And look at it. What a nut.
Oh, and there's my book down there. The Hal Leonard published that. It's how to play the bass and learn to read. It's all notated.
And you probably give tips on rockabilly bass or
Yeah, there's videos for every lesson. You get a video link that you can access through your computer that actually shows what I'm teaching.
Uh-huh.
It's me actually slapping, doing fingering and things. There's some little vignettes, looks like some stills from it there.
Yeah. And this one is different. It's gospel. Oh.
That's the combination. You can get the
Oh.
book, the How to Slap the Bass book, and then you can get Gospel Pop for under $40. Good. I got to raise my prices.
Cool, man.
At the church there that they just that's on this album cover, but that was the church Roy Rogers used to go to when he was in town.
Oh, really?
Moved it to a cemetery up here in Woodland Hills.
Yeah. Now, let's see. See, I have a bunch of videos that I can go to. Well, anyway. Okay, so but first we'll talk for a while. But that's cool. So, I remember you've been involved with the church a lot for years and years. Did you always have a relationship with the church? And you're a minister too, aren't you?
I grew up in that church. They used to call it the Reorganized Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, but they changed our name because they didn't want to confuse us with the Utah Church, which is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. We have similar backgrounds. However, we never had polygamy or baptism on behalf of the dead, and the marriages in the temple. We don't have temples that are secret or closed to the public. We have we have a couple of temples. One was in Ohio, and it was built in the 1800s, and they're all open to the public. And the latest one is in Independence, Missouri, just east of Kansas City, and it's really a beautiful structure designed by a Japanese architect. It had a spiral roof that goes up, but those are all open to the public. There's no secrecy or any of that stuff.
So this religion named the resurrection, right?
Well, it's called Community of Christ now, but
so that's been around since the 1800s.
Yeah, it was founded by Joseph Smith. Now, a lot of people don't realize this, but the people in Utah went west after Joseph Smith was assassinated, and they changed a lot of things in the original religion. In other words, the temples that are closed to the only bona fide members and stuff. We don't have any of that. We don't have baptisms on behalf of the dead. So anybody, you can call me up. I'll run you through these, or just come to my church. It's on Shoup Street, north of Victory. We have a band every Sunday.
Cool.
In fact, we're going to be open this Sunday. We're going to start back up.
And you're a minister too, right?
Yeah, they call me to the priesthood, so okay. I hold the office of priest, and they let me preach every now and then. We have different preachers every Sunday.
Oh, cool.
For members preach.
Yeah.
I'm scheduled a week from this Sunday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Hell, fire and brimstone.
Is it a little bit of fire and brimstone?
What's that?
Is it a little bit of fire and brimstone?
No, we're pretty normal.
Uh-huh.
We're pretty normal.
It's interesting to, to see you as, this big rock and roll, jazz, rock and roll bass player jumping around with your hair up and all that stuff, and then think of you in church and, actually preaching, which it's interesting.
Yeah.
Very diverse.
This is true. Well, I was also playing at the Little Brown Church on Coldwater, but they paid me $50 a Sunday because it was real early. I've said I'm not getting up unless I come home with some cash.
I remember that place.
Church, I figure it's a tithing kind of.
I guess that place is still happening, but it's probably
Sunday, 8 a.m. is when they. That was another reason why $50. 8 a.m. for free. I'm sorry.
I know. Well, yeah.
Our service is at 10:30, so a little easier.
Yeah. Today I actually did an 8 a.m. interview.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I was on this show of a singer in Germany, and she wanted me to talk about being an authentic jazz singer, which I mean, she's very comfortable to talk to. So we did get there. I forgot a few names, because that's just what's happening,
Did you mention me?
I did mention you, actually.
All right. We played probably 100 gigs together at least.
At least we played a lot together in the 80s, right? The early 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. I was mentioning to her, which I mentioned from time to time here on the show too. We played maybe 10 gigs a week, in those days, because there was a million gigs around,
Yeah, it'll come back. I think it's starting to get better.
Mm-hmm. Well, definitely not for me for 10 gigs a week. That was definitely at that time. That was what was happening. We were working in clubs and casuals and, events. And
kind of put a damper on a lot of that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Roland is ordering the physical CD.
Bless your heart, Roland.
And he also bought the CD on iTunes. Big money for you.
Cool. Well, I always sign it personally to you, so you'll have
all right.
I always sign everything.
And Anthony Cucina, hello.
Facebook.
And Toby Simmons, who's like a helper of music promotion. She's really great. And Joyce Glasgow. Hi, Joyce.
Your help.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Jody.
Here's you doing a little master class on the bass. Let's see how you sound there, man.
Oh, I think they sound pretty good.
Oh, we just heard that at the beginning, didn't we?
Maybe.
Hi, everybody. I'm Johnny Hatton, the bass player from the Brian Setzer Orchestra for about 300 years now. So there's two parts to the rockabilly, the swing feel: the snap, which gives you the note, and then the slap, which gives you some rhythm. It's like a kind of a 4-beat division. Pickup's important in rockabilly, in bluegrass. That there is a pickup right there, and that's the one that gets, we call it the click. I call this the neck knock. So on. Well, part of the bass, rockabilly bass scene is doing tricks on the bass. I like to stick it out over here. It's hard to do on carpet, and that's what I'm on right now. Don't try this at home.
Okay, so we did see that, but it's funny to see it again. But so when did you actually, I'm sure you put a lot of time in learning how to play like that.
I started, well, I was in a band called Big Daddy, which was a 50s style band. And I started experimenting with slap bass then. And I could do it for about a chorus, and then my arm would get tired. Now I can go all night, but I did a little slapping, and which is interesting. There was a saxophone player named Bob Sandman, who was an incredible player in his day, could read anything, played flute. He was also in the Brian Setzer Orchestra before I was, and then he became the music director.
Oh.
So he would call me to do auditions when, for example, they were auditioning piano players. So he'd call me, come down to the studio, and so that's kind of where I got the connection to the gig. And then I got real busy in a band called the Hodads, which are still working a lot.
That's your band, basically, right?
It's a kind of a co-op band. Myself, Bob Schuster, Tony Jones.
Oh, Tony Jones, right.
And Jimmy Reeves, who now is an invalid and can't play anymore. It's really sad. But we started in that band, and I remember we were doing well. We were making like $3,000 a week playing parties and whatnot. And the Setzer people called me, hey, we need a new bass player. And I said, well, I turned it down. Can you believe that? Because the money wasn't as good as in town. So I think a few years went by, and they called me again. And at that time, I said, should I do this? And I talked to my friend Tim Bonham, the keyboardist. He's with the
Oh, I know him. Yeah.
Yeah, Tim's fun. He's in town now. And I said, Tim, should I take this gig? And he says, hell yeah, you should take the gig. So I took it. So never looked back. It's been great.
That's wild. Let's see.
Still, we just the Hodads though.
Let's talk about that. But Craig Walker wants to know if that was a 3/4 size.
That was a 3/4. Yeah, that's 3/4 is kind of the state of the art on string basses. I mean, they're the most common size.
Oh, okay.
All the K basses, as far as I know, are 3/4. My symphony bass is a 3/4.
Oh.
All my basses are 3/4. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They get a 7/8, which is like big guys will have them.
Oh.
It's slightly bigger.
Yeah. Dory Amarillo is here too. He said hi.
Hey, Dory.
So let's see. Big Daddy.
I'd help Dory do some carpentry work at us when he was building his studio.
That's right. I kind of remember that.
Construction business, Hatton Homes. So I helped Dory.
John Hatton. You have to be a nice person, friendly, to ask him to work on your stuff, your house, your kitchen, your bathroom, because otherwise he's not going to do it if you're not nice.
Well, if the money's right.
Oh, okay. So I want to talk about Big Daddy. So remind me who was in that. Was that a New Orleans band or?
No, it was. We took modern songs and made them sound like oldies.
Modern meaning?
Well, like a virgin. Yeah. We did it like Pat Boone, ba-doom, dun 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 dun. For example, we'd have that. So we would make them sound like a specific oldies song.
Oh.
I think that was let's see. How do we do Like a Virgin? Oh, I remember the song, oh, Hey Venus, oh Venus.
Yeah, Venus, if you will.
Okay, we did Hey Virgin, Hey Virgin. Yeah, it was all tongue in cheek and designed to get a laugh, you know. So that was what Big Daddy was all about. And their albums are hard to find and expensive, but I think I'm on 4 of them. They've had maybe 5. The first one was their whole pretext was we're doing a tour of Vietnam during the Vietnam War, and they got captured by the Viet Cong and held captive for 35 years, and then got released into the modern era. And when they were trying to read the music, sheet music, how does this go? Can you read? No, you got the music upside down. And then, okay, well, we didn't, that's the pretext that none of us could read sheet music. So we just put our own feeling to the lyrics and the melodies.
Well, I have a little surprise for you. Here you go, Like a Virgin by Big Daddy.
Hey Virgin, oh Virgin, I made it through the wilderness. Somehow I made it through. I didn't know how lost I was till I found you. I've been beat, incomplete. I've been had, I've been sad and blue, but you made me feel. Yes, you made me feel shiny and new, like a virgin. Yes, touched for the very first time. When your heart is close to mine.
So bad.
That's hysterical. That's hysterical.
It is awesome. That's great. Cracking me up. Like a virgin.
You had Patriots dancing in the dark. I don't know this song. Unconger. Let me play it, and then, is this really for you? Maybe it's in the wrong place.
That's not us.
Yeah, they put that in the wrong place. Anyway, that's hysterical.
It's great stuff. There's a bunch of albums out there. Most of them are vinyl. I think the last couple were CD.
Well, Dan, my friend Dan came up with a little help from my friends.
Oh, we did the entire Sgt. Pepper album. It's fantastic. That was one of the last projects I was on.
And there you are, right, in the red?
What would you think if I sang out of tune? Would you stand up and walk out on me?
Oh, God.
Lend me your ear and I'll sing you
I did the string
a song.
arrangement on this one.
And I'll try
played-
not to
played
sing
session.
out of key. I get by.
Oh, my God. This is hysterical.
My friends. Gonna try with a little help from my
That's Don Raymond singing.
Oh, my God.
What do I do?
God, he sounds like
when
Johnny
my
Mathis
love
so much.
is
Jeez.
Does it worry you to be
Bob Sandman.
Oh,
On the
how do
air.
I feel at the end of the day? No, I get by with a little help from my friends.
Oh, my gosh. That's hysterical, John. Wow. That's really funny, man.
Great band. We had fun. at all our shows. Everything was tongue in cheek. And
Yeah. Oh, Mary Bogue is here. She's, hey, a long time since we had fun together.
ah, tell my
Mary Bogue, the queen of fun.
wife.
She's a fun girl. So then, and then the Hodads have been together for a long time. Your band,
Indeed.
right?
Yes, indeed, they have. In fact, I got fired from Big Daddy because I was subbing out too much.
Oh,
But it was hard to turn down. I mean, we were making $600 a man at gigs when we first started playing. It's still doing well. We have
is this the Hodads here?
no, that's not us.
You're kidding. There's a band, two bands with the name Hodad.
Wait a minute. It's hard to see. If that's us, that's an old picture.
Well, Revenge of the Hodads. That's the
That's
album.
not us.
Okay, let's see. There's another band called the Hodads. It's very hard to believe.
We did an album. Let's see.
What does the name Hodads mean?
It actually is a surf term,
Oh,
meaning non-surfer or greaser. It was originally greaser.
huh.
But, when the on the Surfaris album, they're the guys that did Wipeout. No. They
Yeah.
have these surf lingo terms in the back of their first album, and Hodad was greaser. And then we called the surf shop, said, "What's Hodad mean?" He says, "Poser, dude." Poser, a wannabe surfer.
So these are them, right? Let's see. Here's Rockin' Robin. That's definitely you, right?
No, that's us. Yeah.
Sorry, I can't hear you. What'd you say?
The drummer's grandpa wrote that song. But hey, he produced a lot of black rock and roll hits throughout his right around that time.
The Hodads, man. I heard about the Hodads for years.
We've been doing well.
Yeah.
We're got a gig coming up in at Terranea.
And what?
At Terranea, that's Donald Trump's hotel down on Palisades, right next to this golf course.
Cool. Why not?
I got a chance to play that golf course for I think $30 because there was a trumpet player I worked with, and his wife was worked in the kitchen, so she could get employees on Mondays. They could play for $30 round of golf. So I'm in the starter, not the clubhouse, but the shop where you pay your money. And there were some guys there signing up a foursome, and the guy said that'll be $1,200. 4 guys. So so it was like what, $300 a round or something. I can't do math. 400. Anyway, $1,200 for 4. So we got in for $50, and it was great. It was a beautiful golf course for you golfers, and the views of the ocean all over almost every hole.
Wow.
Enough of that. Golf is a sickness. Avoid it like the plague. Don't pick up those clubs. Oh no! Oh, too late.
You're a golfer, right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, I remember that too. Now, I remember there was the drummer whose name I can't remember. He was in Paul Revere and the Raiders or something. What was his name? Dark hair. I can't remember his name, but he was an LA guy. And who else was there? There's a number of musicians who are.
Well, I play regularly with Todd Tatum, who's a drummer that he kind of got me inspired. Says, let's play every week and then we'll get better, which doesn't happen. He just get more angry. That's all.
Golf is such a weird sport. I mean, to become good at. It's
I don't even know if
really,
it's a sport.
wow. You
It's
really need a lot of stuff going on.
Well, you know what? Famous quote from Mark Twain.
Yeah.
Golf. Yeah, he said, golf. It's a great walk. Spoiled. It's the most famous. And you're up there just suffering. You're suffering.
I mean, do you have to start with the right point of view and then follow up with the right body action and stuff?
I think you just got to clear all the clouds from your evil mind when you're golfing, because it brings
That's
out.
what I mean.
I'll tell you.
The point of view. I loved that Bagger Vance movie.
Those are great movies. Yeah.
That was just the greatest movie, and that really was about this point of view. I mean, of course, you need the technique. It's the same in everything. It's the same in music and everything.
But
Right.
the thing is, your mind can just mess with you. Are you golfers who can relate? Are there any out there listening? And help me out here. But you can, once you hit one bad shot, it can ruin your whole round. When you think about, oh man, I could have, would have, should have. Oh, I could have, would have, should have. So I've actually taken off. I haven't played golf for, well, since maybe fall of last year. So I'm kind of getting the bug to, I got to go out there again, and maybe it'll be okay. In fact, we're going to play this weekend up in, we have a gig in Havasu with
Oh,
a rock and roll guitarist, rockabilly guitarist, Chucky Bumps.
ah.
So, I said, Chuck, get us a round of golf. So he's going to sign us up.
Anthony's asking about your background bird sound. Sounds beautiful. No, I think it's a little prettier. Anthony, I think it's just in his neighborhood. It's his
Oh.
bird.
Well, I'm outdoors. Yeah, there might be some squawkers. When we're cooking out here in the backyard, about a little bit before dusk, there's a whole flock of parrots come in.
Oh, really?
These green parrots. There would be 100 of them or more. Just I can't describe it, but they're chattering. Then they land on this elm tree, I think it is, and then they're dead quiet. You wouldn't even know they're there. I think that's a safety.
And then what? Do they go away after that, or do
Well,
they
they nest.
sleep there?
They
Oh.
sleep there for the night, I guess, and then I'm not up in the morning when they leave. But man, they're chattering like mad. Just be a flock of those green parrots.
Interesting, right?
Somewhere along the line, they're all descendants from a couple of parrots that escaped.
Exactly.
That's
You
how it goes.
You know where you used to have that? Remember the Beverly Garland, Howard Johnson's, whatever that was in North Hollywood? Remember that place? On Vine. It's just above Ventura Boulevard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That place used to like next to the parking lot, that used to have birds like that. It was definitely like somebody's birds got out and, and then had babies and stuff. And that was the area where they were. It was really, it's kind of feel a little bad for them. They all, they're going, okay, well, we're here, I guess.
I think they're all south now for the winter because I haven't seen them for a while. They probably went down to Mexico.
Yeah. I always wonder where birds sleep, I know there are some birds that leave, but
Somebody posted a picture of an eagle sleeping in a nest that was just all the snow was all in the edge of the nest. So it was on the news last night, and the eagle has its head under its wing.
Huh.
Can't see its head at all. It's just a big furry thing, and his head's under the wing. That's what chickens used to do. We had chickens back in Missouri.
Huh.
their heads under their wing.
Well, yeah, just wondering, were you, when you did get interested in, in acoustic bass, were you a jazz lover? Was there like a bebop presence in your life? Did you listen to particular players? Did you admire certain players?
Well, my first gig on electric bass was playing in a folk band. Actually, there were two of them. I was living in St. Louis, and there was a band. I'm trying to think of the one was more like a Peter, Paul, and Mary style band, and the other was like a Kingston Trio band.
Oh,
And those were my first gigs. It wasn't any jazz yet, and so I remember we got a gig on this riverboat that used to float up and down the Mississippi. It would
I got a
float,
gig on one of those.
it would float downstream about 3 or 4 miles, then come back, and then redock right at the waterfront there in St. Louis, right where the arch is now.
Yeah, that's where I worked from. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Are you St. Louisan?
No, but I filled in for the singer several times on the Mississippi Queen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
Well, this was a boat called the Admiral. I
Mm.
don't know if it's still around because it was a real Art Deco style, multi-storied, big riverboat. And so we got a gig playing on the top deck. And there was a big band that played in the ballroom. They had a huge dance floor midships. That's a real sailor's name, amidships. So I guess the union and the guy who was playing in the band was the president of the union in that big band. So he came up. So you guys union? No. Well, you got to be to work this boat. So come down to the union hall and audition. So we went down. There was 3 singers. Two of them were guitar players, and one just sang. And I played bass. So we went to the union local 2 in St. Louis and played a couple of tunes for him. They said, well, that sounds great, but what about this guy? He doesn't have an instrument. He can't be in the union unless he plays an instrument. I said, oh, how about, well, he doesn't play anything. And the guy said, well, can he play this? He hands him a tambourine. so that now he got in as a percussionist. So if he had to play something to be in the union, that was my first union, local 2, 1969. And then Kansas City, I was in local 34, 627. So they had 2 union halls there. 34 was a white union, 627 was a black union hall.
Mm.
And when the year 2000 came a few years ago, we had a gig in St. Louis and with the Hodads, and Jimmy Street had a friend who was a jazz musician in the town. He says, hey, just come on down to the Black Union Hall after your gig. It'll be going all night long. And I kept hearing about the Black Union Hall when I was living there, and I never went. I was always playing 6 nights a week, like Playboy Club. I had that going, and other little restaurants and places. So finally got to go to the Black Union Hall in the year 2000. And experience.
wow.
It was like a line of people holding instruments waiting to sit in, and this
Oh my God.
kid on piano didn't look much older than 12, playing like McCoy Tyner just outside. And so I sat in and played a couple of tunes. I had a bass guitar, and then I noticed this huge black dude waiting with a bass guitar looking at me. Okay, turn. So I had 2 tunes. He gets up, he plays 2 tunes, and then there's another guy waiting in line to play his, so. And then our buddy who got us to come down to the club, he was a local Kansas City, and I can't remember his name, but he said he was a black dude as well, and he says, yeah, we used to play here at the Union Hall. and we'd play for tips. And when the tip jar would fill up, we'd take a break, and the drummer would go down to the whorehouse down the street and come back. And then we'd play another set. The tip jar would fill up. Well, and the piano player would go down. And then the third guy at the end of the night. Okay, so that was
That's funny.
that happened. I don't know if it was his way, but that was some great stories, I'll tell you. And then I was reading Count Basie's biography, and that town was wide open during the Prohibition days. And it was well known in Kansas City. Oh yeah, Pendergast, he was the mayor. He said he turned a blind eye and probably, got some pocket change for allowing the clubs to stay open in the black neighborhood. And Count Basie was there all the time. And his biography, he was about every other month or so he was gigging in Kansas City. And now there's a museum there. It's called the Jazz Heritage Museum. There were a ton of players coming out of Kansas City. Benny Moten. Oh God, I'm trying to think of them all now. But anyway.
Yeah, it was a real hotbed.
I started playing jazz. I was playing with the Pete I Trio. And we played the Playboy Club, and we played other supper clubs around town. He'd play maybe 2 months at one place, and then we'd rotate because playing a different area of town. Piano, bass, and drums. And Gene Harris would come in when he was on the road. He was real popular in Kansas City, and they loved the Gene Harris trio. And Luther Hughes was playing bass, and Carl Burnett on drums. And they would come in and sit in, and I met Luther. Hey man, how you doing? And
that was good.
And we'd have them over to the house and this and that. And so a few years went by, and all of a sudden I get a call. Hey man, this is Luther. You want the gig? But I want the gig. Hell yeah. So I pull up stakes, and we started touring with Gene Harris, me and the missus. And at first it was like really bad hotels. And Gene's black. He can't, if he would try to reserve a hotel, it would say, sorry, sir, no vacancy, because they could kind of tell the accent that he wasn't white. So, but he had a white wife. So we would get to a town, like maybe in the middle of Kansas somewhere, and find the first phone booth. No cell phones then. This is around 1971 or 2. So she would get in the phone booth and look up the hotels and start calling them one by one and book a room. And then she would go check in at the hotel, and Gene would stay in the car. And so that's how we did it. And they weren't great hotels. And my wife and I decided we need to get a van or a camper or something. So we bought this Chevy van. It wasn't, and we realized after a couple of weeks, this isn't big enough. There's no bathroom. And, we ended up staying in the hotels anyway. So she had her brother-in-law had a car dealership in Kansas City. He says, I got a motorhome. I'll trade you for the van and that. And I had a MG sports car, MG BGT. So I traded him the MG and the van, and we got this motorhome, and it cost us about the same as the hotels. And it was great. So we lived in that for 2 years.
Oh my God.
2 years.
So that was on the road with Gene?
Yeah, on the road. And he lived in Los Alamitos, so
wow,
suburb of LA here. So when he was taking a hiatus, like he would try to book every week. He had a calendar. He wanted to book every week, but sometimes he'd have a week off or two maybe. So we'd park our motorhome down by the Marina Del Rey, right at the Silver Strand, the main channel where the yachts would go in and out. It was a great life, I'll tell you what. And, I guess we were homeless, but it wasn't a problem then, And there were about 4 other motor homers that also would park on the Strand, right where the main channel goes out. You've probably been there.
Yeah.
So we got to know each other. Hey, can you can you lend us a cup of sugar? You know, that kind of thing. It's like, and one guy says, here's my latrine. He had a hole dug in the ground about this big around. It went down about 10 feet. He says, yeah, we just put everything in there. It absorbs right into the sand. And okay. We had our own, you know, holding tank for all of that stuff on our motorhome.
Yeah. Wow. So
Did I push the Spaz t-shirts? Yeah.
you can do it again. I love it.
That's
Those are really cool.
I have lots of colors. I think this is the Spaz book, how to play your bass, slapping it, and read. Learn to read and slap at the same time. And there's Gospel Bop.
Cool, man.
Bernie's on there.
Bernie Dressel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doug Livingston keyboard.
By the way, somebody was saying that Mike Smith was on the drums for Peter Revere and the Raiders, but he reminded me it was Joe Carrero.
Joker Arrow. Yeah.
He was a golfer too.
Joe Carrero. Yeah.
Did you play golf with him?
He's one of the guys that golf made him an evil person, so he gave it up. He gave up golfing.
Interesting.
Yeah, which is kind of, I can relate to that because it's hard on you if you don't have a right attitude about it. You know, if you're just out there for a nice walk, hitting a ball around, enjoying the scenery, then you can. But then when you miss a putt this long, you want to shoot yourself. So, but Joe gave me some golf lessons. He showed me a few tricks, took me to the driving range. But yeah, he got obsessed with golf. I'll tell you, he told me his story. He says, I got so hooked on golf that I got a gig at the golf course so that every night I could go out with the cart and pick up all the golf balls out on the driving range. And then I would hit them all back onto the driving range. And then I would take the cart out and pick them all up again. And this has got to be 1,000 balls. But I mean, I'm imagine that's how many balls are out there. Probably a couple thousand maybe. So he'd pick them all, hit them again. He said, then I would walk around the perimeter of the driving range, and there's a lot of balls that escape and get hit through or over. He said, I would chip them all back in. I would chip all of it. So he practiced incessantly and won the LA Open. He got so good, he won the LA Open.
Wow.
And then I think it was it's a head trip, so he couldn't handle it.
Huh.
But he gave me some shoes. Gave me some golf shoes.
That's cool.
Yeah.
By the way, Roland wants an extra large, and you don't have any.
What color? I got lots of colors.
Do you have an XXL?
Yeah, I got a double X, I'm pretty sure. If I don't, I'll get him one.
Roland, what color do you want? Okay, we'll ask him. Takes a little delay.
Well, he can.
He went to your website and it said they were not available.
Oh, that's odd.
He wants red.
Red. Okay, I'll get him a red one. He can.
I'll hook you guys up.
Well, he can email me Scud Bucks, SCUD, like in Scud missile, only Scud Bucks.
Yep.
BUCKS at AOL.
Okay. I'm sending him a message. There you go, Roland. Oh, he wants to order it along with the CD.
Okay.
I gave him your email. So going back to my question, did you have bass players that you admired that, like,
Yep.
some particular, whomever, Paul Chambers or whomever?
Ray Brown.
Ray Brown.
That's it.
Strong player, man.
Melodic. I think my first jazz album was Oscar Peterson Trio, Night Train. I probably still have it, but I got that when I was in college.
Yeah.
Oh man, this guy is so melodic. That was my inspiration.
Melodic and just such
Yeah,
a timekeeper.
Yeah,
Yeah.
playing good time. And then you're in Kansas City and you're surrounded by people who've been jazz people. It's a jazz town. It's the roots are there, and people would yell at you, "Oh, stay on top of the beat, man! Stay on top of the beat." You know, we'd yell at drummers, "Hey, man, you're dragging." No, there was no mercy. Now here in LA, I yell at drummers, but most people don't yell at people here in LA. They
I know. You're too nice.
call somebody else, you know.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'll yell at them. I'll yell at drummers.
Did you know my old boyfriend Harold Bennett? I can't remember.
I do not remember.
He was a sax player, a black guy, and his eyes were loose. You know, they were looked in different directions. Anyway, he was a sax player and a flute player. He used to yell at people. He was from
Nice.
Houston originally.
Houston,
Yeah.
you think they'd be mellower there?
No, I think they yelled at people there.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
When I started playing in Kansas City, I was just fresh out of college, and a lot of the guys I played with were my age, so we weren't afraid to yell at each other. We were all learning, I guess, learning the business. There's a great story. I had playing with a fairly young trio in a place called the Baghdad. It was a club on Broadway, and every night the mafia guys had come in. You'd see them walking in front of the bandstand all the way through the kitchen door. Oh, yeah, there's the Goombas, man. Sorry if you're any Italians out there. Please, I didn't mean Goomba.
But you said it then.
Yeah.
That's a long time ago.
When I started touring with Gene, about a couple weeks into the tour, the news was there was a big hit at the Baghdad. Somebody came in with shotguns and
Oh,
made
my
wallpaper out of somebody. That's what they call it.
Missed it by that much. One of my best stories that I heard, we used to have these singer meetings like years ago, and people you knew from before, you know, Peggy Lauren and
Yeah.
that whole crowd, you know. Anyway, there was one singer who talked about playing a gig in Texas with the band, and like, you know, it was in a club, and the floor kind of looked like it was interesting. The lights, it looked like it was moving almost. Turned out to be cockroaches.
Oh,
So many cockroaches that it looked like a sea, and the drummer would like hit the cockroaches off the wall, you know.
oh my goodness. Wow.
Yeah, some funny stuff. Well, I'm curious, do you still need to practice the way that you play bass?
You know what I do practice is my symphonic stuff.
Okay.
Bring the music home, and I'll have to shed that because the bowing, you know, and they write really weird. They notate stuff really different. For example, when you're playing a big band, you're reading chord changes and sometimes the notes, but and it's all 4/4 or 3/4 easy, and then if you have a figure, they will, rather than write a note that's, for example, if you want to play a short note, you can write a quarter note and put a dot over it, and that way, you'll play it like that, which is way easier to read than in symphony music. They'll write a 16th note with a 16th rest, with an 8th rest, and then so on. So all those, that's just so clutter. It's clutter. So they don't write So the difference between symphonic and jazz is designed to be read one time and played one time. So they write it simple,
Yeah.
and they'll write expression marks over the notes to tell you how short or how long,
Right.
or how
Right.
to accent them. But in symphony, they write it exactly the way you want it to play. A lot of times, well, like playing Bach, he just wrote the notes. Play these notes.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah. Or were there? Well, no, there wasn't. I mean, I know there was a lot of improvisation in Bach's time.
Yeah, yeah. They had their own way of writing chord changes. It was called figured bass. We studied it in college.
Oh, I've heard of that.
They would write the note, like say a C, for example, and they would put the numbers of the intervals. So like if a C had a 3, it meant major, C major chord. You
Huh.
would play the third above the bass. So,
Oh.
but then there would be I think a 2/4 maybe. So I don't know. I'm not sure, but whatever it was, that's the bass note, and here's the interval of the notes above it. It's been a long time to
That
read.
sounds hard to read.
Well, it's if you're I guess if you're in the Baroque and you've read it all your life, figured bass,
Yeah.
you get it.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody mentioned that, I think, in my piano class. And, but they must have been a classical player, right?
Yeah, here we write a chord change C, but slash over E bass, for example.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a different way of writing. You write the chord and then the bass note underneath a slash.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm learning tune up.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm getting my left hand together.
That's a bebop tune.
It's very humbling, John Hatton,
But,
learning piano.
oh my. I rebelled against piano because it was my mom's instrument, and I always thought that was a girl's instrument. So I didn't want to play. She tried to teach me. Now I wish I'd learned.
I know, really, right?
Yeah, she said she should have given me some Dave Brubeck album. Listen to this guy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I learned how to play chords in my right hand. So I'm basically an accompanist type of player, right? For me and my students, and I have good time. I can transpose, but I'm not a piano player, So I'm learning in my left hand with melody in my right, and it's very challenging to coordinate, to do everything well and then coordinate.
Well, I always yell at our keyboardist in the Otis, Sterling Smith, because he's not hip to jazz, and he will not ever be hip to it. It's because he hates it, I guess. But I don't think he was like a rock and roller, And I'm always yelling, Sterling, thirds and sevenths, in your pinky. So in other words, don't play the bass note. Play that. That's my job. I'm yelling thirds and sevenths. Play thirds and sevenths with your fourth finger. This one. That's my
Yeah, that's interesting too. I had a gig with Hideaki Tokunaga. I don't know if you know him, Hide. Anyway,
I've heard of him.
he asked me to do a gig. It was so out. It was like I was doing my jam session, and he said, "Hey, you want to do a gig with me?" And I said, "Oh, sure." And he said, "Playing piano." And I said, "First of all, how do you even know I play piano? And you've never heard me play because I never played, at a jam or anything." And he said, "You probably can play, and you can sing too." So I said, "Okay." So we went to a Korean bar down in Koreatown. There was one, I forget the name of it, but it used to have a lot of music. Sure enough, I played, but I had to learn that not to play the bass. There was a bass player on the gig too. I had to learn not to play bass note because I was used to playing like an octave or a 1 and 5 in my left hand, a lot. That was That
Did they
was
yell at you?
interesting, huh?
Did the bass players yell at you?
No, but I think they gave me dirty looks, probably.
Uh, That's my problem. If I just keep it dirty, I'd probably make more friends and get more gigs. Thirds and sevenths.
We had that gig on in Studio City. I think that was the last gig I did with you.
Yeah,
It was the jam session, and it was in that cool little place, but it
cool place.
was
I remember.
not good parking.
Ever is for bass players.
Yeah, but that was a
Trumpet
nice
player,
gig.
clarinet. Hey, I parked 2 blocks away. No problem.
Yeah, always the parking is always one of my first questions. What's the parking like?
All right.
You know,
Do we?
actually,
That's this next one.
yeah.
Is there
Last
food?
last night I went to Lock, that place I used to book downtown near the Disney Hall, and they had good parking and just a great room, which they don't really do music in anymore. But it's like a little club in the back of the restaurant. Like you open a door and you're in like a club. It's beautiful. That was a great room, and little stage held about 70 people, sound, lights. It was really nice. And last night I was just like, oh, I wish that was such a good period, really nice to book a nice place, that was successful.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I look forward to my next gig with you someday.
Okay. You know what? Actually, I sent out a a letter to the owner of, you remember Spazio's, right?
Yeah.
So, now I actually had a jam session there when it was called something else, which I can't remember the name of it, but and then now it's the same owner, but it's a great Mexican restaurant.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, but it's the same exact space,
I will work for food.
practically. But I think it would be really fun to be able to play music there again, but who knows? I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. What do you think's going to happen now?
Uh, well, this comes to mind. There was a music musician I worked for, and I used to do casuals with him, and he was an Italian guy. I might have met him at Tom Monteleone's place, but anyway, he had a band, and when the DJ started just playing parties and things, he was going to get a contract out on him. I'd say, what went wrong here? Oh,
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
so,
You're right. That kind of sounds like right now,
many of them, though. Do you have enough ammo?
It does sound like now.
But,
I don't know. Do you have any like guesses what's going to happen in life and
well,
music?
I don't know. It's a weird call. I mean, they like jazz. Some places want that look and the kind of I guess it lends class. We just played at the Stevens Steakhouse, and like I said, and they had a jazz room. So I don't know, but the DJs are really putting a ding in our ability to play weddings
Yeah,
and bar mitzvahs. That's the first thing to go. It's too
yeah.
bad. I look at my kids, and my youngest is 40 something, 41 or 2, and the oldest is maybe 45 or 6 or whatever. It changes all the time. I don't know. So got that line from Dom DeLuise. Anyway, they never had a live band at their high school ever for a dance. And when I was in high school,
Wow.
teen bands would play, and I'd sit on the edge of the stage like this, and there'd be a teen band, and they'd be rocking out. They'd have skinny ties, shark skin suits. The drummer had a little foot switch. They had their own. They built their lights that was like on the footlights, like a case that would fold together, and then it would open up, and they had all these patio lights in there. And the drummer would kick a little foot switch, on 2 and 4. And the light flash was down, and the band would be rocking out and doing steps. What the hell happened? You know, you got a effing DJ.
Yeah.
I cleaned up my language there for a minute. But
Thanks.
you get the picture. Just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Time to die. What was that? That was the line from what movie? Time to Die. Oh yeah.
Ryan, what's his name? That movie? Um,
Huge movie. And it was about androids, and one of them was, and he said, "Time to die," and he just shut off. Yeah. Oh, you know, I can't think of my memory.
oh, Roland said Lester Merle used to have his own mini spotlight on a foot switch.
Oh, yeah, nice.
I can see that. That could have happened with Lester Merle.
Well, with the
Right.
hookups, we bought a set of lights, you know, podiums or tripods. Yeah, so we bring lights to our gigs. It really helps.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. I was going to ask you something. Well, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen right now. I mean, nobody knows, of course, but I just want to know that. Well, I'm really not. I don't have this thing about needing to know the future. I think I feel more improvisational in it. You know, it's okay to be improvisational.
Yeah, I think jazz will live. Jazz will survive the DJ thing because nobody wants to hear jazz records. They don't want to hear jazz, period. But the people that want jazz want an atmosphere.
Yeah.
It lends class. It lends class to a nightclub, I think.
I do too. I love jazz. Jazz is a hip thing. Hey, this reminds me. I wanted to show you. This is the very first copy of a book that I just wrote.
Oh, look at that.
It's very tiny, and it you just can put it in your pocket and read it while you're waiting for the dentist.
I'll trade you for a CD.
Cool, man. It's a philosophy book. Surprise, surprise, right? Cathy Segal-Garcia philosophy book? Gee, I'm so surprised.
You probably have a great philosophy. You're a jazz musician.
Well, you've been hearing my philosophy today. I have a
Well, I gotta tell you my Elvis, the 9 words that Elvis said to me story. You want to hear?
sure.
Okay, so when I was in Kansas City, we would get calls to back up traveling acts. This was way before the big productions and lots of semi trucks. Like, for example, we backed up Liza Minnelli. We had a big band in Kansas City called the Kansas City Kicks Band. I was their bass player. I played mostly bass guitar, which is very interesting. I think it was a kind of a fad then
Yeah.
to play bass guitar, not upright. Because, you know, the thing about upright basses, there were no good pickups in the late 60s. They just sounded awful. So, and you couldn't really hear bass wasn't loud enough. Now it is. Now we got a little amp to help you out. So we'd play electric bass. And then we backed up Liza Minnelli. Clark Terry came in town, passed out his music. We played his show, and the Righteous Brothers. They toured with a piano player and a box of music. Just 3 guys. The 2 of the piano player. They'd hole up in a motel out east of town. So we did their show, and then then they called me. Hey, you want to do the Elvis show? Said, okay. And me being a jazz purist, didn't have any Elvis records, so I went out and bought a couple just to see what it was all about. And I knew who he was, of course, but this is in the days when he was doing the Hilton Inn, or the Las Vegas Hilton, and so we went down. It was show and rehearsal. So you basically rehearse early in the afternoon, then you take a break and you come back and play the show. And the conductor was Joe Gershio, who was Elvis's guy, and he wrote all his arrangements and all hand copied.
Yeah.
So we read the show down. it was the local sax player, the wind section, saxes, I'm not sure how many, trombones, trumpets, brass, and they'd had to rehearse their stuff, and then there was a local drummer and myself, and the rest, no one else was at the rehearsal except us and the conductor. And at the end of the rehearsal, Joe Gershow, he points to me and the drummer, and he says, "You two guys, you're just going to play that 2001 theme and then lay out for the rest of the show." And I go, "What?" You know, my heart sank because you practice all, for a couple hours there. So anyway, we had a break. So now I brought my 2 albums with me, a little felt tip pen. And so I'm looking for Elvis. I'm wandering around the arena and found this place where like semi trucks drive in, and there they were. They were up there, and just the 2 of them. Nobody was around. It was him and the colonel talking, and he had his white suit on with the studs and everything. So I just kind of strolled over next to them, and I just didn't say anything. "Hey man, can I have your order?" None of that. I just stood there with my pen and the albums. And pretty soon Elvis turns to me and says, "You want me to sign them for you, Sonny?" "You want me to sign them for you, Sonny?" The 9 words Elvis said to me. And he signed them. Little tiny, not this long. Elvis signed both of them. And the bad news is I don't know where they are. I couldn't find them in my album collection. So either the ex-wife or the baby. She was a klepto, but she was good with the kids, so we put up with it.
That's funny.
Oh, Elvis.
So did you not play the rest of the show? You just played the
2001, and when that music hit, the place lit up like broad daylight because there were so many Instamatic cameras going off, flash cameras. The place was lit up. I don't know, you Midwest.
Now, why wouldn't they have the bass for the rest of it? What did they have?
Well, they had their own guys. They had they're taking care of businessman, the TCB band, their Hilton, the guys who backed them up at the Hilton Inn, or the Hilton.
Oh, I see.
The Las Vegas Hilton. So it was Ronnie Tutt on drums. God rest his soul. He passed away a couple of months ago. But all of a sudden I hear, he had all of the octapads. He was the first guy, and he was famous for that row of tom-toms. And Archie Sheff or Jerry Sheff on bass, and then there were all the other old timers that Elvis's friends. He'd take them out and shoot pistols. They were all the band. And one of the guys, he played an acoustic guitar, and he doubled all of Elvis's singing, his vocals. He was
really?
So add strength to the vocals. And then he would hand Elvis the scarf out of the piano. There was a grand piano with a lid, and it was full of red scarves, little gauzy scarves that Elvis put around his neck, and he would hand them to girls on the front row and wipe his brow. And then he'd hand them another scarf out of the piano. So that was 1971, and there are videos of Elvis in Kansas City, 1971.
Wow.
Joe. A lot of people.
Uh-oh. He hung up. I'm going to move over to a video, but he will be back because he hung up.
We come all this way to rock this town. Are you ready yet? Are you ready yet?
I remember seeing this one. Bernie Dressel was on it.
Well, my baby and me, it's alright. I'll pick you up at 10, I'm gonna get you home by 2. Your mama don't know what they got to stop you. That's alright, cause you're looking as cool as can be. That guitar sounds good. Found a little place, really didn't look half bad. I'll have a whiskey on the rocks and change of $1 for the jukebox. Put a quarter right into that can. All it played was Disco Man. Come on, pretty baby, let's get out of here right away. We're gonna rock this town, rock it inside out. Make them scream and shout. We're gonna rock, 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 and rock. Rock till we pop, we're gonna rock till we drop. We're gonna rock this town, rip this place apart.
Sorry,
We're watching you.
computer died.
Wow. Yeah.
That's a real trick.
There's probably like parts where you're playing too. Yeah. We saw either that video or something when Bernie was on, because that was, the three of you, like, wow, there you are, you guys,
Well, so
You
I
had-
had my computer plugged in outside, and so
Your computer died, right?
yeah, batteries, and I'm plugged in.
Yeah.
So any chess players out there?
Yeah. Any chess players out there? It says choose your weapon.
Chess.com. I'm on it. Let's play.
Chess.com, guys. Yeah. I don't play chess. I used to play chess a little bit. That was a game kind of like golf.
Love-hate relationship.
Yeah. Yeah, you really have to have a particular viewpoint, I think, to play stuff like that.
I don't know. It's like Tetris, kind of, because you're moving spaces,
Yeah.
not just a piece. Like the queen, you're moving this giant star pattern around.
Yeah.
The king has a little square about this big.
And you're kind of one thing I've been thinking about lately too, in various fields or just subjects, but when you have the kind of thinking that you can think ahead, like the possibilities. With that, I mean, chess is obviously that. If he does that, then I can do
Oh,
this.
yeah.
If he does that, then I can do that, right? But that really takes a real strong way of thinking to me.
Somebody said about chess, like after about the 16th move, the combinations of moves outnumber the stars in our galaxy or
Really?
whatever. It's like, what do I do now? I know that might be an overstatement, but there are a lot of combinations.
Yeah. Yeah,
There's-
that's crazy,
There's
man.
32 pieces on the board, and each one has, well, several places he could do, and so you add those all up.
Do you think that's why it takes the game? This game goes slowly because people are sitting and contemplating
Yeah,
some
yeah.
of the moves. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Does that drive you crazy playing chess? That particular part of it?
I don't like losing, but I lose a lot. The thing is, if you go to chess.com, they give you a rating after a couple of games.
Oh.
And I see my rating go down, 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 down. I used to be over 1,000. Now I'm down in the 900s.
That's not too bad, John.
The grandmasters are up in the 2,500s.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh.
I'm below average, I guess, then. But I heard a story about Willie Nelson. He has a house in Hawaii,
Yeah.
and he says he plays chess every day on the porch
Really?
when he's in town. Yeah, guess he's got some chess buddies.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Willie Nelson, chess. Maybe you can play him.
Maybe I wouldn't know if he's on chess.com or not.
Maybe if he has friends. Do you have live friends that you play chess?
Yeah. I've got about there's this a guitar player from Brazil that we've been playing a couple of years,
Oh,
and we talk about music occasionally. Mostly we just play chess, and he says we've played 100 games. He says I've won 60 of them. You've won 40. That hurt. I'm playing Tim Bonham, who's the keyboardist with the Beach Boys. He was also on Big Daddy for a while. So
Tim, I know Tim. I think I met him through Connie Olson, probably.
oh right, that's right.
Yeah. Tim Bonham.
Good man, and it means good man.
And he is a good guy. He's a really cool guy.
His brother Al's a great guitarist.
Oh,
Al Bonham
I didn't know he has.
lives in the valley.
Oh,
And Tim said for a while he had a homeless guy living on his parkway out in front of his house or off to the side. It was driving him nuts. I guess the guy that was harmless, but he finally moved on.
yeah. It's a little difficult. That whole thing is difficult too. I keep going to my town meetings here.
Oh
and
yeah.
they're interesting. But it's just like any politics. It's you know somebody can say something very deep and strong, but that does not mean it's going to happen or that it's 100% true either. So it's that kind of stuff drives me crazy, but it doesn't stop me from looking.
Hmm.
I mean, it would be nice to give people an action that they could take, like people like you and me who have a house and we're not homeless, and give us an action that we could do that would actually move towards solving problems like for the homeless. And talking about chess, when you have this kind of thinking that's possible, like a chess mind, right, that we were just talking about, you would think that that kind of mind could be applied elsewhere, like the homeless problem, like somebody who actually thinks like that could lay something out and then we could all get on board.
Well, I think there's a lot of them that have mental health issues, and then
Yeah.
I mean, even in that little small town in northern Missouri, they had a funny farm.
Oh, yeah.
And they put people away, and you'd drive by it, and it was a big brown brick, multi-storied, big, looked like a school. And you'd hear people you hear funny noises coming out of there, but those crazy people need to be in crazy people places. Not out on the street, I don't think.
I don't think so either. I think it's wrong in
Yeah.
many different ways.
And that's the problem about California. Everybody's
Real
so goody two shoes. Oh, everybody has their rights. Yeah, but we have a right to live in a clean neighborhood too.
Right.
They put the gangbangers, and the criminals in the slammer because they annoy us, but that's in a different way. So people that annoy you, they need help. I mean, they can't get it living
They
on the
do
street.
need
I
help.
don't think.
They absolutely need help. That was the worst change of law that
Yeah,
could ever
those
happen.
two uh, those two laws, releasing low-level offenders. That wasn't good because most crooks are
That
nuts
is
anyway.
so bizarre. I just don't understand how those laws even get passed. I don't even get it.
Well,
But
we're in California, that's why.
yeah, well, all the, I'm from Boston, so in
Yeah, there you
Boston
go.
was kind of the highlight of, the independents, Democrats, but I just got tired of you can't say right without saying wrong. You can't say white without saying black. You can't say that. It's like, Jesus, yes, there is a right and a wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, there is a right and a wrong. You can say that. It's okay to say that. Oh, don't get me started. Rawr. So, do you think politics and music can mix?
Well,
That was kind of a joke question.
well, I know I got some musician friends of mine that are anti-vaxxers and think it's a big conspiracy, and I
Oh,
think, well,
yeah.
that's kind of dumb. I trust science. I got my shots. I wear the mask. I
There's a
trust
lot. There's
science.
a lot of stuff going on. But as my husband and my husband's kind of, he's like a little troublemaker guy. He, like, if you say something, whoever says something, he'll take the other side just to see, give this conversation another side, right? Not that he necessarily believes everything like that, but as he and I say, like you say, I trust science, which, yeah, science is the thing that we want to trust.
Yeah.
However, you put 100 scientists in a room, there's going to be a lot of varying opinion because of their education and their research and their experience. So the problem is like for instance, in the beginning of the whole pandemic, I, of course, was looking at medical people who I would normally follow, which was more holistic, right?
Oh, yeah.
Those people were saying those people were against the vaccinations, and so okay, so now I change after 30 years of following holistic medicine. I'm supposed to change all of a sudden. So there's all these different levels of, of who you believe and why.
Well, I think the holistic thing is a thing that makes you healthier.
Uh-huh. Right.
However, if there's a an evil critter that invades your stream and tries to kill you by clogging up that's different. How do you treat it holistically? But I harken back to the days when I was in grade school back in Missouri, and they said, all right, children, today we're getting our polio shots. Everyone line up in the hallway. Remember that? I don't know if you had
I
it.
do.
We
I
got
remember that.
polio
I got it. Yeah, of course.
and nobody cried. Well, maybe a few, but I just got the shot. Ow, and okay, next. And then it would be, okay, children, today we're going to get our smallpox vaccination. And we all have a little scar on one of our arms. I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
We're going to get our vac. Nobody said, wait a minute, I have a right to die by smallpox. This is basically what you're saying. If you say, I have a right not to have the vaccination, yes, you do have a right to die from this disease and spread it around to other people. However, it's better if you don't do that. It's better if you live and you stay healthy.
Yeah, man. Well, we're getting to the end. We're getting to 2 hours,
It went by just like that.
didn't it?
Yeah.
It's fun. It's
Yeah.
really fun.
I was looking at the red T-shirt. I have a red one here. Let's see what size. I know. I have the box of T-shirts. He said double X.
Roland, there's your T-shirt, man.
The red one. Wait a minute. There. That's an XL. That's an XL. I don't
He
know.
needs a double X.
You need the double X. Well, I'll have to. That'll be a special order. You know who prints my shirts? It's the guy who does Brian's guitars. He's a guitar tech on the show. He tunes them up and keeps them running.
Cool.
So I'll have to send him an order.
That's cool. Hey, I'm going to show you something. I think you'll like these. So I made these stickers up of with the logo of the Noontime show, and launch rockets of desire. Let the heart have its way. I like this one. You are headed in the right direction.
Who made those for you?
Vistaprint.
Oh, Vistaprint.
Art is the tie that unites the planet, and all it takes is one human.
Nice. I like that.
I'll send you some.
Okay.
Thanks for being on, Johnny
Thanks for having me.
It was really fun to hang out and see you again.
And hi to all the slap bass players out there in the world. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can
use nylon strings. It's easier on the fingers. Nylon or gut, but gut doesn't like humidity. You got to tune halfway through every song. in between tunes. I did a gig in Philadelphia with Brian, and it was just constantly tuning all through the show because it was raining outside and the doors were open to the stage. It was so humid. It's so humid.
That's definitely a human area.
So speaking of it's so human. It's so human. You gotta get the album Two Live Jews. Remember Two Live Crew? Well, a couple movie stars got together and go, oi. So one of their rap songs is, oi, it's so humid. Oi, it's so humid. Oi, it's so humid. And you hear a girl say, it's like a sauna in here. You need to get it. It's called
What is that again?
Two Live Jews.
Oh, okay. That's funny.
And that's one of the tunes that I remember.
That's funny.
It's like a sauna in here. Well, goodbye, folks.
Goodbye, John Hatton.
Cathy, let's get a gig over at Casey's bar, all right?
Okay, I was supposed to actually work there right before this Omicron went.
The oh my God variant?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
The oh my God variant.
Are you working at Casey's?
I haven't worked since the pandemic, but are they open? Are they still going? Are they going?
I think so, because I think Henry would have called me, but yeah. Wow, well that'd be great to play with you or hear you or whatever. It would be fun.
Yeah. All right. So do we say goodbye now?
We say goodbye, and you can hit the end, and I'm going to tell people I have a gig on Sunday, and I'm just going to tell people.
Okay. And I'm going to hit leave. Goodbye, folks.
Goodbye, John Hatton.
Go on johnnyhatton.com and buy some swag from me. See you later.
Bye.
See you at the gig, at Setzer gig. If you're at a Setzer gig, I usually come out to the merch table just for fun.
Oh, okay.
I'll see you there.
Here. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Johnny Hatton, ladies and gentlemen, my guest for the day. Fun person. Thursday through Sunday, I have archives. Judy Niemak, great singer from New York and Berlin, Thursday. Friday, two of my improv group, Fish to Bird people, Cecily Gardner and Emil Hassan Dyer, both great singers. Saturday, my husband, Gary Hoffman, who, amongst other things, worked as the lighting board operator on The Tonight Show for 20 years. And Sunday, Nolan Shahid, the great trumpet player, MD, studio engineer, and award-winning runner worldwide. And also Sunday, I have a gig. If you're in LA, I have a gig at the Urban Press Winery, which is in Burbank. It's the gig is run by Linda Smith, singer. And Sunday, the 20th from 2 to 5, I have a great band. Gary Fukushima, John Leftwich, Chris Blondal, and Chuck Manning. We play standards, originals, jazz stuff. And it's a great band. It's the kind of band that as soon as the first chord is played, it changes the space. It's really good. Next week for the live guests, number 400 is a bass player named Bruce Gertz from Boston, an old friend of mine. Tuesday's another bass player from LA who has a big band that's really great that he writes for, Marlon Martinez. And Wednesday, an old friend of mine who's a film composer and pianist, Misha Segal. So no relation. But anyway, that's it. Oh, thanks, Anthony. That is a chronic cough that I have for the last 20 years. I have tried pretty much everything I can think of. Eastern, Western, diets, lots of stuff. Right now I'm on a diet with no sugar, carbs, or dairy. And I'm still coughing, but not as often. But sometimes it just stirs up. But thanks for your concern, Anthony. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, goodbye. Have a great evening. I'm going out tonight to Sam First to hear Anthony Wilson play with, what's his first name? Jacob, I think, Crumbly on bass. He's really good. And Jay Bellarose, just a head-shaking drummer. You just listen to him and you go, wow, he's so good. And, of course, Anthony is one of my favorite guitar players. So that's what I'm doing tonight. Hope your night is beautiful.